Sunday morning. I'm J.B. Hawkins.
I hate it when he says good morning.
Yes, it's a great Sunday morning. This is shown on Sunday morning, and so I always like to greet everybody with a good Sunday morning because it's a day the Lord hath made. The Bible says we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Listen, this is being shown a week before a week before Christmas. The boys will be on next Sunday, so be sure to tune in. A couple of praise reports for you. If you're watching in Iredell County, we say hello to you. We were able to go into Mooresville, Statesville, Lake Norman, Troutman, Mooresville. I think I said Mooresville. But we're excited about it. Glad that you're watching. If you don't know anything about us, we run an outreach ministry here, evangelistic ministry. We travel, we minister. We feed about 75 to 100 people a week. God has really blessed us. We've been on TV for about 15 years. So we're glad you tuned in that area. There is a number there on the screen, special prayer request. There's a blog that Amber does. Our blog site's there. It's there at the bottom of the screen. But we're glad you that watch us faithfully in Cabarrus and Rowan and Stanley County. We say good morning to you. Special people in our life. Patricia, we love you so much. And Jim and Barbara and Mary, if you're watching, Georgia, John Exline. So
Linda
many.
And Kim.
Ken and Linda. There's so many people. Hazel and Donna.
Jackie, if you're watching.
Yeah, Jackie. There's so many people that watch us. Yes, Jackie. I forget to say good morning to you, but we have a lot of Miss Houston. If you're watching, be a part of our life and our ministry, you in Iredell County. Let us hear from you. Let us know you're watching the program.
Right.
That would be a blessing for Amber and I because we do invest a lot of our time, effort, and work into this TV program. We do it all ourselves. We actually have taped in some of the churches we've ministered in.
Yes.
If we had the opportunity to minister in a church, we would tape it and put it on this program, which is really neat. But that being said, this, as I said, I'm trying to get the days straight. But I'm trying to get the days straight because this is being shown on 12. I wrote it down. This is being shown on 12/15. And we've already been in Iredell County for a couple of weeks, but that was my Christmas wish. You that follow us know.
Well, it's a privilege. I mean, being on TV is a privilege.
Yes,
and
it
you
is.
turning on the TV and watching it is a privilege, and
Yes,
that's
it
how
is.
we see it. We thank God for allowing us that privilege to branch out, to be on TV as long as we've been on TV. It is a big deal
Yes,
because there's a lot of people that maybe they can't get out on Sunday morning and go to church. They might be elderly. There may be some health issues. And this is their church.
Well, and there's some folks, Amber, that have just been disillusioned with the church itself. And they, we have some folks that are part of our life that are definitely born again, going to make heaven, and we appreciate you being there. But this is being shown on 12/15 next week. 12/22 we'll have the boys on, which will delight you. They're grown so much in a year. But I want to share with you some things this morning. And, of course, we always pray. We let the Holy Spirit lead on this program. We never come sit down with an agenda saying we're going to say this, we're going to say this, we're going to say this. But as I studied this morning, Amber, and this time of year is a perfect time to talk about it, but I wrote down what is behind the mask. Perfect time of the year to talk about what is behind the mask. As we search, and I put down a few notes here for you, but as we search for truth and meaning for our lives in relation to those around us, we uncover truths not only about ourselves, but about others. As it is the holiday season, a time for joy, happiness, and wonderment, when I look at others, what do I see? When I listen to others, what do I hear? I share this because we talk to a lot of people. I subsidize my living with cleaning out houses and things out of basements and attics, and a lot of people call me and know who I am. But I talk to a lot of people too with our outreach ministry and our food ministry. And just in general, I'm out a lot and I talk to a lot of people. Amber works the internet, so she talks to a lot of people, which you can hide pretty good behind on the internet. You can hide pretty good the mask. But when you're face to face, and I really want to train my, and this is a good you this morning. What do you see when you look at the face of others? I think of a picture you took. We preached over at a church in Charlotte, Steel Creek Baptist Church. And I think of that picture you took of that 80-year-old woman, and her face is so, and it's on the website. If you go to our blog there, it's on that. But it's so intense. And I look at her, and you can see the years that she went through. And, I want to train myself this time of the year, and hopefully for the upcoming year in 2014. What do I hear when I listen to others? What do I see when I really look at their face? And can we gain, and this is something we need desperately as Christians, can we gain the real confidence from people to trust us with their uttermost secrets and their desires? People, trust is a hard word, Amber.
It really is. It is.
It's hard in a marriage. It's hard at your workplace. It's hard with our country. It's hard with the government. Trust is a big word. And how can I get under that mask? The layers that are there. And Amber, most of y'all know her book is there on Amazon.com. The Plight.
My Plight.
Oh, My Plight. Yes. And I just use that as an example because of what she went through from having. Worms is in Puerto Rico. I mean, and I use that because if you look at her, you sit there and you go, silver spoon woman.
That's what most people think.
Yeah, but it's not true.
They think I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth and grew up in a nice suburban family.
Yes.
My parents sent me off to be educated.
Yes.
Paid for everything.
And she won beauty pageants and
that's the farthest from the truth it could be.
But that is, and of course you know that have followed us and that watch us and know us, Amber doesn't hide behind a mask.
No.
And I think that the real Christian of today should stand up and take off the mask. We're not this, and I often think, and I use this as an example because but I often think of Jesus and the pious Pharisees and Sadducees and the mask that they hid behind, and he was bold enough to tell them to take the mask off and you whited sepulchres. You're clean on the outside, but inside you're dead.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head a moment ago when you said trust is an issue. Even it takes a lot of guts to take the mask off because it's embarrassing. I don't know how else to say it, but say it. It's embarrassing when you start getting into the things that you've been through, and people are like, "What?" You're putting it all out there, and I think that one of the reasons that I did it to help people. I did it to. It was cathartic for me. It was healing for me to get that out. But I also did it because I know that the media is a double-edged sword, and I knew if I didn't come out with it, the media was going to come out with it sooner or later. It was going to come out, and I thought better to hear it from me that just basically my mom didn't want me, left me in Puerto Rico, and it was kind of downhill from there. I've been on my own since I was 13 years old, and I did whatever I had to do to survive, and that was my life, and I'm not sorry for any of it if I had to go back and do it again, because if it will help somebody, I think that it's okay, and I wrote this in the prologue of the book, that I want people to know that it's okay to be broken, it's okay to be unwanted, it's okay to be abandoned.
Yes.
And, that many times these things just aren't your fault.
Well, and the thing is, and I think of as you're sitting there talking, I think of, and this was over in your area, Lake Norman area, I think of the lady over there. They lived over by the lake, and you know who I'm talking about. And actually, the lady's mom came to to some of our meetings, so we got to know her real well. But she called me, and we went over to her house. We got some donated items and things like that, and different things for the outreach ministry. And she was sharing with me that she had invested. Now, they lived in a super nice house over by the lake, had invested all these years and all this time and all this money into a relationship with a man, had 2 young, beautiful boys, and to find out the whole time he was wearing a mask of pretend that he loved her, pretend that they were going to, that she had a business, he went through school to take over the business. Once that transition happened, he began to distance himself with all kinds of affairs. I'll just put it out there like it is. And the thing is, she said he had a mask and was so well hid that it took me years to see behind that mask. And this is somebody that she lived with every day.
Right. Well, and in certain areas, certain classes of people, image is very
it is
important.
Well, I was talking to a lady yesterday, sweet lady Brenda. She's over here at the First Baptist Church over on in Kannapolis. But I was talking to her yesterday, and that's what she was saying. She said that people.
But and part of that, and I don't completely blame people, because a lot of that comes from the backlash of what you're going to suffer if you are for real.
Yes.
Yes. The church isn't always open arms and understanding, and they can get into gossip too. And when I said embarrassing, it's embarrassing to come out with all that if you don't have support.
Yes,
if you don't have people supporting you. And so many times our image, it's all about the image, because if it's not, you're the water cooler topic, and none of us want to be the water cooler topic. I don't either. But it's what happens is people are like, well, if I focus on you and all the mess that you've got going on or have been through, then the focus is off of me.
Yes. But the thing is, and you'll never grow, and you can underline this and write it down. You can write down, I'm never going to grow until the mask is removed. And as I said, I was talking to that lady at the First Baptist Church. She told me, she said, do we not remember what God said in Isaiah, that our righteousness,
it's all filthy rags,
was as filthy rags? You can look that up in Isaiah. The thing is, when I understand, and you that know us know, what you see is what we get. We have always been real. We go through the same pains, heartaches, betrayal, joy, happiness. We go through everything just as you do. There's no fluffy lining. God opens this door for TV, God and God alone, and we give Him all the praise for it. It's nothing special with us. It's just something God has called us to do. And the thing is, we have the same downfalls, the same ugly that anybody has.
Right.
And the thing with Amber and I, because the only way that you're going to reach people for Christ is when you take the mask off and you say, here I am with my warts and my lumps and my bumps. Here I am, and here's what's happened in my life. And it's just like, Amber's life. There are a lot of people. I talked to a lady the other day, was married, and we helped her for Thanksgiving. Sweet lady, love her to pieces, works 2 jobs now, has 4 children. And then, of course, the man is not going to help her at all. And, she said, I watch y'all on TV, and the reason that I called and the reason I shared with you was the fact that I could tell that you had been in circumstances and situation like me. And that is where we become the real Christian, is when you can identify with people in their circumstances and situations. Now, granted, there's things I can't identify with you with, haven't been there, haven't done it. But as far as the gamut of emotions and things that people go through, the ups and downs, the highs and lows, I've been through some.
Right. But that's the truth. Most people can look at us that have been through something, and when we talk to them, they know that we've been through something.
And I'm just using us as an example, Amber, because I always look at our lives and I say, what about us? And if I can convey to you this morning that there's no use in hiding a mask. Number one, God knows it all anyway. Number two, the real you is there. And the real you is who God
comes out at the most inopportune time.
But the real you is who God really created. That's you. We're all striving to become better and better. And you know, as you know, if you're first-time viewers or have been watching it over in Iredale, we always use this time to inspire and encourage. Come on, we can make it.
Right.
We may stumble, we may fall, but we can get up and we can finish this race. And we can get to the place that's called heaven that every Christian wants to make it to. And we can stand before Him unashamed. Now, here is just some things that I saw. We've got 10 minutes. It's always a quick program. We just share from our hearts, and we hope that you get ministered to this morning. Just God bless you for even allowing us to come into your home. Now, here is what Jesus saw from many that I see behind many of the masks people wear today. If you have your Bibles, turn over to Matthew chapter 11, and I want to read to you a couple of verses that I see so many people, and I see it in their face, and I hear it in what they say. And Matthew 11, chapter 11, verse 28. He said, and this is a familiar passage, but He said, "Come unto me, all you that are weary, that all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me. For I am meek and lowly in heart, and you shall find rest unto your souls." Now, I want to stop there just a minute, because as I read that this morning, I said, well, you know, I was reminded our soul is what we hide behind the mask.
Right.
Our soulish,
will, and emotion.
yes, our soulish realm, our mind, our will, our emotions are what I hide behind the mask. Why can't I be real with you, brother and sister? Why can't, if I'm angry, tell you I'm angry? Why, you know, why if my heart is broke?
Well, we're so conditioned to everything's okay, everything's okay, everything's okay,
yeah.
Everything's got to be okay. And many of us have high-powered jobs where it has to be okay, everything, you know, because you don't want to put yourself out there in the line of fire. You know, even with us, when we're out in public or whatever, if there's a beef, we got to wait till we get home. We can't just be out in public arguing.
But there was a time now, hold on, there was a time back when we were first married.
That's growth, baby. That's growth for anybody. But my
Sister
point
Sister Hawkins and I were getting the boxing gloves in the...
My point is that a lot of people are in a position where they can't. We're not saying, hey, just lay it all out there and say whatever. You know, what we are saying is try to be real as far as your walk with God and ministry to other people. You know, seek God about how much you can be open and clear about. Because so many people, it's like you've got people waiting for you to fall. You've got people waiting for some kind of way that they can maneuver in and get your promotion or get...
Yeah, or a rejection. Rejection. We're, me and the boys are huge NASCAR fans, and there's, on the blog there's living in NASCAR country, and those boys, they all have their favorite driver, and I have mine and so forth, but as we were out, and I use this as an example because as we were out, one of the, I consider a good guy in the racing, man. I mean, they did so much for the breast cancer awareness in October and things. I'm not naming names, but they actually booed the man, and I was sitting there going, how hard is that to listen to the boos and get up and keep a doggone good attitude and still go on and take the winnings and give it to the breast cancer patients that were behind 60 and 70. I mean, to me, and then you've got to put on and see, y'all know that mask, and you may work in an area in a field. I remember a lady telling us,
when you're in the public eye, you have to have a mask to a certain extent.
Well, I remember the lady that she went to work in Charlotte, and she hated every moment of it. But it was all that they had. Mm-hmm. And she hated it. And she said, I pull up in the parking lot, on goes the mask.
Mm-hmm. Game face.
Yeah, game face. She said, I leave work, and off comes the mask. I look in the mirror and I say, God, you got me through another day.
Right.
I didn't explode. I didn't I didn't curse and start choking the boss. All these things. But Jesus said, he said that you shall find rest unto your mind, your will. And the reason I'm sharing this is because this time of year, sister.
Oh yeah, it's a high stress.
Yeah, you're fine. To find rest, you better get under a coffee can somewhere, because it is high stress. We got to get all this done. We got to get this done. We got to get this done. We got to get this done. And he's saying, take the mask off. I remember the big family get-togethers we used to have when I was a young boy. And there was a lot of masks being worn. And then when I came around the corner of the pavilion one afternoon, and it looked like my two uncles were about to go to blows. Now, these are the same guys that were sitting at the table smiling and in front of their mom, which would be my grandmother, and they were hugging each other and best of buddies, and they were out there about to go to it. And, I guess they took
deep down inside we hate each other.
Yeah, I guess they took the mask off.
This for Mom.
Yeah, I guess they took the mask off when they went behind the pavilion. And you'll run into that this holiday season. I'll never forget. I was at Walmart one year. It's been years ago. Excuse me. And this lady, and I told you about this, but this lady came up behind me and was bumping me with her cart. Literally, it's just really packed. You know how it is, I don't know, week of Christmas. I don't go out like that anymore. But anyway, she was literally bumping me in the rear. And after about the third bump, I was like, I'm getting upset here.
I was like, quit hitting me with that stupid car.
Well, and of course, there's people walking up and down the aisles and everything. She's bumped me. Well, of course, now here's what happens. I was getting ready to take that mask off and go off. And here comes a guy around the corner. He said, "Oh, J.P. Hawkins, I watch you and your wife every Sunday." I know.
That could have been bad.
And I said, you know what? I leave the mask on. Just what Amber said. There's times, now I'm telling you, I think there's times to be real. Take the mask off. Be yourself. And I think there's other times that it's okay to wear the mask. Just try not to wear it all the time. There are people that...
Well, I think there's a difference between a game face and a mask. A mask is, your game face is what you put on when you're out in public or at work or whatever. A mask is just where everything in your life is a fake. That's true.
That's true.
Nothing's real.
Yeah. Well, and I put a little note down, too. We got about 3.5 minutes. I put a note down. I asked you earlier, I said, when you look at others, what do you see? And when you listen to others, what do you hear? And I put a note down at the very bottom of this. What will you uncover this holiday season? What will you uncover not only about yourself, what will you uncover about others? Maybe it's a loved one in the family. Try to, we live in such a self-consuming society. Mm-hmm. And, the message I think that was on, it'd be, I think 2 Sundays ago, what about me? The what about me syndrome. Mm-hmm. What will you uncover about others? And the reason that I pray that the Lord will show me about others is, number one, is I can pray for them. And I pray, and it's what you said earlier, I pray for wisdom on what I need to reply to people. I pray for wisdom when it's time to, as you said, put your game face on.
Well, if you do uncover something, keep it in a confidence.
Yes.
It's not our job to air everybody's dirty laundry.
Yeah, even though there may be some people watching that's part of the self-appointed sin patrol, we ask you not to share. If your cousin confides in you, you don't have to tell everybody in the family that everybody's sitting there embarrassed. I just think that we wear a mask that everything's fine, when I think there's times we literally could fall to our feet and boo-hoo. I know I've been there.
Yeah.
And I think there's times, I know just here recently, a couple of issues came up, and I almost threw my hands up. I said, you know what? I think there's people that are that way with the church. I'm just done with that church, and I was just done with trying to make a ministry work, because, as I said earlier, we're a mom and pop ministry. The thing that keeps this going, and there's some faithful viewers that are watching this, you know who you are, you're the ones that keep this going. And God number one, of course. But the thing is, if you allow it, it can be overwhelming, and you can throw your hands up and say, you know what, I'm done. Stick a fork in me, I'm done. But this holiday season, we've got about a minute left. Number one, we wish you the best of this holiday season. My Christmas wish has already come to pass by going into Iredell County. I think it's awesome. If you're watching it, like I said, there's a phone number on there. If you had the opportunity for us to come and minister in your church, would be great. We share about outreach. We share to inspire and encourage the congregation. Amber's blog is on there. She works that thing. Contact her. You can contact her through that. You can leave your prayer requests through that. Right. We do get prayer requests through that. A lady that's having an issue with her eyes just recently, we put her on that prayer list. But God is so faithful, and it's such a wonderful time of the year. And you at home can say it's been quick, because I'm sitting there going, just a year ago we were doing taping a program like this. But you tune us in next week. We'll have the boys on, and may you have a blessed week, and maybe you find.
If you're new, tell your friends.
Yeah, tell your friends. If you're new watching the program, tell your friends. We're on every Sunday morning at 8:30 on Channel 19. We appreciate you taking the time to watch us, and we just pray the Lord bless you and keep you this week. God bless you.
We love you.
Hi, this is J.B. Hawkins, and for Amber and myself, we appreciate you allowing us to come into your home this Sunday morning. We thank God for the opportunity to share our ministry with you, and pray you found a spark of inspiration through our program. As we were a part of your Sunday morning, now we ask you to be a part of our ministry by sowing a financial gift. The Bible plainly states, "Give and it shall be given back to you." It is never the size of the gift. It is the act of obedience to give as God directs. We have a vision for a larger outreach center, but it takes obedient people to help bring it to pass. Please prayerfully consider this, and then be obedient to how God directs you. Again, thank you. May God bless. Until next Sunday, may Jesus be glorified in all you say and do.